Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick.
Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday.
All right, guys, some breaking news.
What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful post-spawn fish.
Look at that.
Look at that gut on that. That's a nice fish.
Luis from the Hookup Tackle, or Dat Boy Segoy on the gram. Today we're gonna be talking about something I get a lot of questions about when we do like a free rig video. One thing a lot of people say is like, do you guys ever upsize? Do you ever throw it on casting gear and whatnot? And totally. Most of the time it's not up to this size, but I found some fish that were eating some bigger stuff and took advantage of that. Took out some baits that don't typically get to throw, and we just had a really good time. We're gonna check out some of that here. It was my first time taking out this rod, and I was one that's been on my radar a little bit, and I just trying to figure out a good use for it. And that's the Undertaker by Raid. This rod's rated up to 5 ounces. It's 7.5, so good length for the kayak, and that weight rating is not something you typically see in such a short rod, so that's really what got me interested in it. Like I said, about 5 ounces is where it tops out at, and we're throwing like around an ounce plastic with 3/4 to an ounce free rig weight. So, you know, sitting right there at that like 2.5, 3 ounce level, and that's felt really good on this rod, right about in the middle of it. We were throwing in the sticks and into some gnarly cover and stuff, and that extra power in this was really nice to have. Like I said, typically I'm throwing like my free rig on spinning gear, but out of kind of necessity, you know, I've been throwing it on some casting gear just to get it in to some like more gnarly stuff. And then they were eating some bigger things, so I just kind of stepped it up to this guy so I'd be able to handle throwing that bigger stuff into the cover still. Real quick, another rod I wanted to point out that would be a good option for this would be the Poker 7.2, also real short, get a nice quick hook set. I would think that this one would feel a lot better for that beaver and the Hira Tailor size. The reason I kind of went with that Undertaker is because I wanted that extra little oomph behind me when I'm setting the hook on that beast hook on that bull flat. I would kind of say like if you're gonna go up from there, Undertaker, there or down, Poker. I had that guy rigged. Typically everything was 3/4 ounce to an ounce was the weight, and most of these baits all take the 6/0 beast. When I'm not throwing an EWG, I always throw some kind of a pin or stopper just to keep the weight from smacking the knot, right? Doesn't really matter which one you use. There's a lot of good ones, right? I just usually stick with the Sapu one. Ryugi just dropped a new one, that's pretty good too. With a couple of these baits though, I throw these baits in the smaller sizes, so I like throwing what I was using there, just upsizing it, and that's the Limit by Ryugi. I mean, I use this on what I could get away with, right? Like I threw the Magnum Beaver, and this one is really a good one for that, like just a little more shallow, right? It's not, I don't need that huge gap on there going in and out of cover, so it kind of makes sense for that, slipping in and out. The one I threw the most, and definitely got the bit on the most, was the 5.8 Bull Flat by Deps. It's this guy here. Jeff's talked about this before. Popular way of throwing this is like typically like a weighted hook or just like an underspin or something like that. And I've chucked it around like that before, but they were really into this gliding and like that free motion from the free rig, right? It comes off of the weight. This one has just a little bit different hang time, right? It kind of comes off the weight and it hits the bottom. It has more of a glide and it'll just kind of spiral and glide. The hang time is a lot longer, right? I think that little gliding is really got these fish to commit. I mean, a lot of these casts I was making, it was dropping it in, and I wasn't even getting a lift in. They were eating it on the first drop. I knew this was working for me, right? So I was kind of experimented a little bit with some other stuff because I knew they were eating this big thing. And another one I like to throw when they're on that gill shape or that gill pattern, right, is the Hira Tailor. This is the 5.7, and same thing, fits really good on that 6/0 beast hook. But this one's quite a bit different, right? You're getting a little more thumping. The tail's kind of has a little bit of a kick to it. Subtle, not very loud, but the action completely different, right? This one's gonna follow the weight down a lot more and then just kind of kick off, and it gets down to the bottom a lot faster. And I think what was working so good with that Bull Flat is it was passing through a lot of these like tree limbs and stuff, giving the fish a chance to see it and come after it and get it. Another one I was throwing a lot too, had some success with, was the Magnum Beaver by OSP. This is one I had my eyes on for a long time and finally found some fish that are willing to commit to something this size. So I had a really good time chucking this guy around, and just super fun bite. I mean, I catch a lot of fish on the regular size beavers, so it was just really fun to take that same bait you have a lot of experience with and just upsize it and have a new experience with it, right? It's like refreshed, just fun all over again. And that guy paired really good with that limit hook. Just super flat, doesn't have as much meat as the Bull Flat or that Hira Tailor. I just feel a lot more comfortable throwing a free rig with the EWG, so it was just a confidence thing, and I know how to function, you know, all that feels better. Just a more at-home feeling for me with that EWG, and then I don't have to use a bead or anything. Alrighty guys, so that about wraps us up. Callan's gonna leave you some links down the bottom with all the products in the description. I just had a really fun time filming this, and Callan did too. We went out and caught some good fish, a lot of fun. And if you guys have any questions too about throwing Magnum size, free rig, or any of these bigger soft plastics, you can shoot me a DM too. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Trying something different and seeing it produce as well as something you throw all the time is just, I can't beat that feeling for me personally. So I hope you guys give it a shot, and curious to see how it works for you guys. Good luck.